You are in rant purgatory, where you only end up when things go wrong. This one's for Iluzon, who says, "Hello, Digi. I am requesting a rant on the topic of ethical marketing based on this video. Please rant about the temptation of going too far. The thought of making a joke $1,000 tier must have crossed your mind at some point. Wouldn't be surprised if a couple people paid that, and of getting over the hump of charging money for anything. Got a feeling that Mage struggles with that from the last PCP. I would have thought that every artist has to get over that, but I've seen too many DeviantArt commission listings to think that anymore." So, I made a two-part video on this. Not really on purpose, but out of necessity, because I recorded 8 minutes, the camera filled up. I later filled another 8 minutes, like a couple days later, and accidentally deleted the first file in between. So, all I really remember talking about in the first half was about how early on I did have, like, it was like really difficult for me to ask for money. Like, I saw my content as free content on the internet, and I thought the best way for me to get paid for it would be by faceless corporations. That, like, I would be getting paid entirely through ads, because that way nobody had to pay me anything. They just got my content for free, and I just magically got money from these people who, I already know internet advertising, like, for the most part, doesn't really work. So it's like these people are running ads on me basically to no benefit, and I just get paid for it, and that was kind of the ideal version of it in my head. And if you were a patron way back in the day, for a very long time, it said on my page, like, ideally I'd just make money from ads, but because I can't, because of all the copyright issues I'd had and having my channel demonetized several times, we're going to go to Patreon. I don't really feel the same way anymore. I feel like, I'm really happy that people think my stuff is worth paying for. I think that sometimes I feel a little bit of guilt if people are giving me more money than they probably should, or than, like, they really would want to. But I don't know. It's it's the way I can make money, and it's way more reliable than those corporations who will just cut me loose as soon as they feel like it. I'm sure I said more in the original clip, but anyway, we're just gonna skip straight to the second half. It surprisingly makes sense. I just had to have an intro where I, said the patron's name and everything. Okay, continuing where I left off, the camera died, and that was like a couple days ago, but I think I was talking about how I initially had these reward tiers where I would, for $15, make an analysis of whatever you want. I got through a couple of these, some of which were just, like, incidentally about things I wanted to talk about anyways. But ultimately, what I realized is that as much as I wanted to offer people, like, as much as possible for giving me money, because I just always felt like it's incredible that anybody would give me money, and, like, the amount they were giving me always seemed like too much. Like, no matter how much it always is going to seem like too much, But once I started doing reward tiers and realized that, like, if I'm going to put real effort into something, my effort is worth money to myself, as well as the time investment. It's like, I'm not good at making myself care about something I don't, immediately care about. You'll see with these rants how, I usually try to tell somebody if I have nothing to say about their topic at all. I will contact them and try to see if, they want to change it. But, like, the ability for me to talk about something really comes as far as how much I care about it. And so we went from, like, $15 meant a full-on analysis video written and edited about whatever you want, to $15 means, and then this time it's recurring, you get a rant that is just, like, as far as I happen to know or feel like saying about a subject, because that way, if I talk about something for longer, it means it was more relevant to me and more fun to talk about. If I talk about it for less time, it still wasn't a waste because I made $15. And, categorically, my time is worth $15, because I can make content that will make that amount of money in the same amount of time as how much it takes for me to, or, like, I might make $15 worth of contribution to a larger video in the time it takes me to do a rant. So, like, yeah, my time is significantly worth something, and that's why I kind of have adjusted the Patreon into the position it's in right now, where it's, like, the best possible correlation between worth for the audience and worth for me, in terms of how much time and effort it takes for me to do something, and how worthwhile it is for them to pay $15 for it. or $40 as it may be. Um, you know, I wanted to really get into, since this is about ethical marketing, the times that I actually marketed something that I wasn't all that okay with. Because after having my Patreon for a while, it wasn't long before I started getting like brand offers, you know. But most of it is very low level stuff. It's like Loot Crate kind of shit where they're like, we'll send you a free box. You just got to promote our thing and put a link in the description. And like some of them would have it where if anybody bought the thing with that link, then you would get $5 kickback from that. But some of them didn't even have that. So it was just like free box, and you know, that's all they're giving you. Even though the box of shit is worthless, and like I would say so. Like I did a couple of those videos. I had one from a company called Viewster, one from a company called like Nerdcube, and one from one of those like Japanese sweets makers. And like all of them, I believe I did on the After Dark channel. Maybe I did the first one on Digibro, but I unlisted it eventually because it was just like a box that was only relevant for that month, anyways. But like you know, they send you just a bunch of random bullshit, and like some of it's kind of cool to have once you have it, but is it worth the cost of the box? No. You know, it's just like, oh, neat, I have this thing now. The best thing I got out of any of them was my Gundam shirt out of that first Nerd Cube, as well as this Cowboy Bebop headband that I did wear for a while, but I think I lost it at Otakon. So, you know, it's not that nothing I ever got out of them was good or that I felt like totally bad about promoting them. I just knew that like this is a scheme. You know, these things are not worth the money you spend on them. Most of the time, you're not going to get anything good. It's definitely not worth the it's something I would never buy. You know, it's something I'd never buy of my own volition. It was something it was only worthwhile to me when it was free. And this was a case of where like my involvement in making a video like that is literally just unbox this thing on camera. That's all I really have to do is unbox the thing on camera, film myself doing it, talking about it, and upload it. And you know, I got something for free for that, so it was worth it in that sense. But like having those videos stay up on my channel, I just felt like wasn't worth, you know, wasn't worth whatever I was getting for them. And they wouldn't get very good views either. You know, nobody gives a shit. Nobody else is excited for you receiving something for free. Um, so you know, I did those three and never continued on any of those fronts. And then I took up a Crunchyroll sponsorship because I actually do, you know, well I did actually use Crunchyroll, and like you know, I was willing to support it. I thought it was a good platform, and they use another affiliate program where it's like, you know, you use a link. If anybody signs up with your link, you get $5. I made some decent money off of that, and I would always go out of my way to try to minimize the level of the promotion. Like I did have my like 5 great anime you can watch legally right now videos, which Crunchyroll had, you know, literally approached me offering to sponsor that as a series. But I only did one video after the Crunchyroll promotion, you know, advertising 5 shows that were on Crunchyroll. In part because they wanted me to request footage from them, and when I did, they took forever to get it back, and it was basically useless footage. So I was just like, fuck that, I'm just going to publish these on my own time. And so that's another thing. They're not easy to work with, all these companies, necessarily, you know. Um, so you know, I had the Crunchyroll sponsorship for a while. Eventually, I think they turned mine off after I just had talked enough shit about them. Um, but I was gonna do a video for Amazon Prime one time. They were offering. They basically just asked me to set my parameters of what I asked for. And I know that like Lachlan and Jeff Du had both gotten like $4 grand off of Naruto Online sponsorships. But this is another case of like I don't really know what I'm actually worth. Like there's websites that will tell you that you are like what your channel is supposed to be worth for advertisers, but they're horribly blown out of proportions. Like I know for a fact my video is not worth that much to the advertiser, you know. So I was gonna do a video for Anime Strike, and I really wanted to do it on Vivid Strike. And I was trying to get them to just give me $2 grand because I was like, this video's, you know, if I make $2 grand off of this, that's going to be way more than, you know, what I'd make off of views or anything like that. You know, it would basically be free money for a video about Vivid Strike, which I wanted to do anyways. But we got to a point where they wanted me to have a sole proprietorship or LLC signed up before they would continue with the deal, and I did not have that set up, so I didn't end up doing that because I never got it set up. And I get tons of little offers from apps and all this other bullshit. And it basically just comes down to if I don't believe in the product, I'm not going to promote it. If I were being offered promotions for products I actually cared about, I would promote them. And like right now, I've got my Amazon Associates link that I promote in all my Manga Mondays videos because I only talk about manga that I want to promote using the Manga Mondays, using the Amazon Associates link. So it's like whatever money I make, I feel good about. So yeah, definitely I would say I care a lot about the ethics of how I market things, and including myself. I'm never gonna blow anything out of proportion. If anything, I'm gonna downplay everything. Every ad I've ever done has been downplaying the significance of what you are receiving. Except for when it's an ad for myself, in which case I will be real about the fact that if you do become a patron, there's hundreds of hours of content you can listen to. Because at some point that became true, and I was like, "Fuck, I really undersell myself." Um, anyway, yeah, I guess that's it for that question.